Good to see you again, dear friends. Today, we have another gentle journey ahead of us. So settle in, relax your shoulders, breathe in slowly, and let us begin together. Today, we are going to Paris. We are going to stand beside a tall iron tower, a tower that almost everyone in the world knows, the Eiffel Tower. But this tower was not always loved. In the beginning, many people were angry about it. Some people said it was ugly. Some people said it would destroy the beauty of Paris. But today, it is one of the most famous monuments on Earth. How did this happen? How did a strange iron tower become the symbol of Paris? Let us begin at the very beginning. Our story begins in France, in the late 1800s. Paris was already a beautiful city. It had wide streets, old churches, lovely bridges, and the river Seine. The city was proud of its art, its music, its fashion, and its history. France wanted to show the world that it was modern, strong, and full of ideas. In the year 1889, Paris planned a very big world fair. This fair was called the Exposition Universelle. People from many countries would come to see new machines, new buildings, new art, and new inventions. The fair also marked 100 years after the French Revolution. So France wanted something special, something very tall, something no one could forget. The French government opened a competition. Engineers and architects could send their ideas. The plan was clear. They wanted a tower on the Champ de Mars, a large open space in Paris. The tower had to be about 300 meters tall. At that time, this was almost impossible to imagine. No building in the world was that tall. Inside the company of Gustave Eiffel, two engineers began to think about this tower. Their names were Maurice Koechlin and Émile Nouguier. They worked with iron, bridges, and strong metal structures. They imagined a tower made of iron, not stone, not brick, but iron. It would stand on four great legs and rise high into the sky. At first, Gustave Eiffel was not very excited. He was already famous as an engineer. His company built bridges and metal structures. His company also helped with the inside structure of the Statue of Liberty. But a 300-meter tower in Paris, this was a very bold idea, maybe too bold. The two engineers did not stop. They asked an architect named Stephen Sauvestre to help. He made the tower look more beautiful. He added arches at the bottom. He added rooms and decorations. He helped turn the simple engineering idea into something more elegant. Now Gustave Eiffel began to believe in the project. Eiffel understood something important. The tower was not only a building, it was a message. It told the world that iron could be beautiful. It told the world that science and engineering could create wonder. It told the world that France was ready for the modern age. In 1884, Eiffel registered a patent for this new kind of tall metal structure. Then his team entered the competition. There were many ideas, but Eiffel's plan was chosen. The tower would be built. It would stand in Paris. It would become the entrance and the great symbol of the World Fair. But when the news spread, many people were not happy. Some artists and writers were angry. They loved old Paris. They loved stone buildings. They loved soft lines and old beauty. To them, this iron tower looked like a giant factory chimney. They wrote a public protest. They said the tower would be useless, ugly, and terrible for the city. Gustave Eiffel did not agree. He said the tower had its own beauty, the beauty of strength, the beauty of clear design, the beauty of a structure that does exactly what it must do. He believed the tower would be graceful because it followed the laws of nature. It had wide legs at the bottom and a light top in the sky. And so, after many arguments, the work began. On January 26, 1887, workers started digging the ground. The tower needed strong foundations. The four legs had to hold a very heavy structure. The ground near the river was not simple. Some parts were wet, some parts were difficult. But Eiffel's engineers knew how to solve problems. The tower was not built like a normal building. Many of its iron pieces were made in a factory outside Paris. Each piece was carefully designed. Each piece had a number. Each hole for each rivet was planned before the piece arrived at the site. It was like a giant puzzle, but the puzzle was made of iron. At the construction site, workers lifted the iron pieces into place. They used cranes, wooden platforms, ropes, and strong hands. The work was dangerous. The tower grew higher and higher. The men worked in wind, cold, heat, and rain. But Eiffel used careful safety methods for his time. This helped protect the workers as much as possible. Piece by piece, the four legs rose from the ground. At first, they looked strange, like four huge iron feet standing apart. Many people came to watch. Some laughed, some were worried, some were amazed. Paris had never seen anything like it. The first big challenge was to connect the four legs on the first level. Everything had to meet perfectly. If one part was a little wrong, the whole tower could fail. Eiffel's team used special hydraulic jacks. These were powerful machines that could move heavy parts slowly and carefully. At last, the first level came together. The tower was balanced. Then, the tower continued to rise. The second level was finished in August 1888. Now people could see the shape clearly. It was not a normal tower. It was open, light, and full of air. It did not hide its structure. It showed its structure proudly. Every iron line had a reason. Many workers in the factory and on the site helped build the tower. The official Eiffel Tower history says the design used 18,038 metallic parts, about 2,500,000 rivets, and 7,300 tons of iron. This was not only art, it was mathematics, planning, and hard work. Finally, on March 31st, 1889, the tower was finished. It had taken 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days. This was very fast for such a difficult project. Gustave Eiffel climbed to the top. A French flag was raised. The tower stood above Paris, taller than anything people had seen before. The tower opened to the public during the 1889 World Fair. At first, the elevators were not ready, so early visitors had to climb the stairs. Imagine that. People in long dresses, suits, hats, and old shoes, climbing higher and higher, step after step. They were tired, but they wanted to see the view. And the view was magic. From the tower, Paris looked new. The streets looked small. The river looked like a silver ribbon. The roofs looked like waves of gray and blue. People had never seen Paris from this height before. There were no airplanes for ordinary people. This view felt like a dream. During the fair, the tower became a great success. Almost 2 million people visited it in that first season. People bought postcards. They ate in restaurants on the tower. They looked through telescopes. They wrote letters. They talked about the tower again and again. The strange iron giant was becoming famous. But there was a problem. The tower was not meant to stay forever. The plan was to keep it for only 20 years. After that, it could be taken down. Many people still wanted it removed. They thought Paris would be better without it. Gustave Eiffel had to save his tower. He knew beauty was not enough. He needed to show that the tower was useful. So he made the tower a place for science. He built a small office near the top. He invited scientists. He supported experiments with weather, wind, air pressure, and radio signals. This was very important. In the early 1900s, radio became more and more useful. The tower was very tall, so it was a perfect place for antennas. Messages could travel farther from the top of the tower. The French military saw its value. The tower was no longer only a fair attraction. It was useful for communication. Because of science and radio, the tower survived. The 20 years passed, but the tower did not come down. Slowly, the people of Paris became used to it. Then they became proud of it. Artists painted it. Photographers loved it. Visitors looked for it as soon as they arrived in the city. In 1900, Paris had another World Fair. The Eiffel Tower was still there. It received new visitors, new lights, and new attention. Technology changed around it. The city changed around it. But the tower remained tall, calm, and strong. In 1925, the tower became a giant sign for a time. The name of a car company, Citroën, was lit up on the tower in huge letters. At night, people could see it from far away. The tower was no longer only a structure. It was a stage for light, words, and modern life. During the 20th century, the Eiffel Tower saw many difficult years. It saw wars, fear, and change. During the Second World War, Paris was occupied by German forces. The tower stood silently above the city. The lifts were not used in the same way. The city was not free. But after the war, Paris came back to life, and the tower stayed. Little by little, the tower became the heart of Paris in the eyes of the world. When people saw its shape, they thought of France. They thought of love, travel, art, and light. It appeared in films, books, paintings, and songs. A tower that many people once hated became a beloved symbol. The tower also needed care. Iron can rust, rain, wind, heat, and cold all touch the tower every day. So workers painted again and again to protect it. This is slow and careful work. Painters climb the structure. They clean old paint. They add new paint. They protect the iron skin of the tower. The color of the tower has changed many times. It was not always the same brown color people know today. Over the years, it had different shades, from reddish-brown to yellow-brown to bronze-brown. The paint is not only for beauty. It is like a coat. It helps the tower live longer. The tower also changed in height. At first, it was about 300 meters tall. Later, antennas were added. Today, with its antennas, it is about 330 meters tall. So the tower still grows in a small way, not because workers add new floors, but because communication equipment changes. Visitors today can go to different levels. They can take elevators. They can climb stairs to some levels. They can eat in restaurants. They can look across the city. They can see the River Seine, the Louvre, Notre Dame, and many Paris streets. Every visitor sees the same city, but every heart feels something different. At night, the tower becomes another kind of story. Lights cover it. For a few minutes at certain times, it sparkles. The iron becomes bright. People stop walking. They look up, they smile. Some take photos. Some simply stand quietly. For a moment, Paris feels like a dream again. In recent years, the tower has also needed serious maintenance. Old monuments need money, care, and patience. The Eiffel Tower is visited by millions of people, so it must be safe, clean, and strong. In 2024, there was public discussion about maintenance and investment. The tower's operator and workers agreed on plans for more care in the years ahead. In early 2026, the top floor closed for a short time for yearly renovation and maintenance. This kind of work is normal for such an old and important monument. It reminds us that even a world-famous tower needs quiet care. A strong tower still needs human hands. And now, today, the Eiffel Tower still stands above Paris. It is more than 135 years old. It has seen horses and cars, candles and electric lights, early radio and modern phones, world fairs, wars, celebrations, tourists, artists, families, and quiet dreamers. The story of the Eiffel Tower is not only a story about iron, it is a story about an idea. At first, the idea looked strange, too tall, too new, too different. Many people were afraid of it. But the idea was built carefully. It was tested by time, and slowly, people learned to love it. Maybe this is why the Eiffel Tower feels so special. It teaches us that new things can be scary at first. A new idea can look ugly to some people. A new dream can seem impossible. But with courage, patience, and good work, something strange can become something beautiful. Gustave Eiffel did not work alone. Engineers helped him. Architects helped him, factory workers helped him, metal workers helped him, painters helped him, scientists helped him, guides and caretakers helped him. The tower is famous under one man's name, but many hands made it real, and many hands still protect it. When you see a picture of the Eiffel Tower, remember this long journey. Remember the first drawings, the arguments, the workers in the cold air, the iron pieces arriving one by one, the first visitors climbing the stairs, the scientists using the tower to send signals, the painters protecting it year after year, and the people today looking up with wonder. A tower can be more than metal. It can hold memory. It can hold dreams. It can hold the story of a city. The Eiffel Tower began as a temporary project for a world fair, but it became a permanent part of human imagination. So the next time you hear the name Eiffel Tower, do not think only of postcards. Think of courage. Think of work. Think of people who believed that the sky was not too high. Think of a city that learned to love something new. Thank you for listening today, my friends. I hope this story helped you feel calm, and I hope it helped you learn English in a gentle way. You are doing very well. Every story you listen to makes your English stronger. Please tell me what story you would like to hear next. And if you enjoyed this peaceful journey, please like, comment, and subscribe. I am happy to learn with you, and I will see you in the next story.